Yo ho ho ho! What's up, guys? It's Terrell here from Terrell Game Vlogs here to bring you Monster Musume episode 10 review. Woohoo! So episode 10, I will say, in terms of being canon and faithful to the source material, very, very good, and it actually managed to throw in some other filler slash non-filler things to explain. So the whole thing is that we're continuing with the D arc. They're still paranoid about they haven't found the person, and they're going on more dates. So the first half is, well, I wouldn't even say half, but the first part is Poppy, Sue, and Zambina, and while the second half is Centauria, Ratchera, and how you pronounce her name? It's like I can never remember all. I can never remember all of the goddamn not Suicide Squad, Mon Squad members, but I think it's like Mona something or Monia something. Anywho's, for those who are curious, this is gonna be kind of the trait. I'm not gonna say it's a somewhat consistent trait where they will randomly introduce monsters within chapters and like never really address them again, because that's essentially kind of what happens here. They introduce Poppy's friend Key, and then they also introduce, technically they introduced two characters in the second half, but you're only really going to notice one of them. One of which is just, the one that's focused on is Lilith, the devil, and then the other one is Pulp. Now, for those who are watching the anime, you think Pulp is just a random dog girl they just happen to throw in there because they want to show more monster girls in the actual series. That's not the case. Pulp is actually has a manga. She's actually relevant. That's how I know her name is Pulp. In the manga, she actually has a chapter devoted to her. Well, she's featured in a chapter, but the anime skipped it, so I guess this is the anime's way of kind of like, well, we're still going to show her, we're just not going to animate her chapter. At least currently, we don't know they're going to animate the chapter. So for right now, this is the best you're going to get. I think if we do get to see Pulp's chapter, it won't be until either possible season 2 or an OVA. I'm banking season 2 because if it was going to come out on an OVA, they would have already announced it already, so I don't think it's going to be an OVA. Actually, I'm curious to see if Monster Girl is going to even get an OVA. But if we're talking about sticking to the material, this episode sticks to it pretty faithfully. It does that weird thing about changing certain sentences and phrases around, but for the most part, its actions still play out exactly the same. The anime did add a random Godzilla reference into Sue's situation, because unlike the Mia thing from last episode, the snake thing, that actually is in the manga. The Godzilla thing with Sue, that's not in the manga. That's something the anime decided to do for the hell of it. Which, you know, I don't mind, because it was weird though, because it kind of like the way they did it made it seem like the trees are coming out of Sue's body, which I don't know if it just so happened that the trees happened to be under her when she grew or what, but you know, that's the thing. And then obviously there's fan service moments that were censored in certain areas, but that's fine. I didn't realize how fast paced the Key stuff is, because Key and Poppy's thing only took like what, maybe 5 to 8 minutes, and we had like another 15, like 10 to 13 minutes left, and I was like, wow, this is really fast paced. And then you realize it's because the majority of that chapter was an action chapter, which is why they kind of start throwing in a little bit of filler to kind of space it out. So the first half is pretty simple and straightforward. It's mainly a Poppy-focused chapter, which is pretty cute. As I said, Poppy's kind of going up in my rankings, my personal rankings for girls through the anime. The anime just made her seem a lot more adorable. And then the second half, and the only thing they really cut out was the beginning, which sets up the Key thing. But to me, it would have made it too obvious. I don't really mind them cutting that out. The part I was a little bit confused about cutting out was during the beginning when Centauri is rocking the armor, there's a scene in which Ratchera is like, I'll be watching from the shadows, enjoy your date. But for some reason that scene got cut, which was weird to me because there was no real reason to cut it. Which is really funny because they still show everything else. Like every other scene after that point is all in the manga, except for the Pulp scenes, which aren't. Even the scene that Pulp's in is actually canon. It just doesn't show Pulp in it, which is the dog girl that you see jogging and running and whatnot. But and I thought these were good development chapters because, for one, it kind of fleshed out Poppy a little bit. 2, it kind of addressed Centuria's kind of other personality trait that she bugs her, is that she likes to, because she's the whole chivalrous animal, she's all about being as useful as she possibly can, which in most situations she can't be because she's a fucking horse. So I thought this was a nice chapter for her, and I do like how the little thing at the end where she's like pretty much going like, you keep saying all this stuff, Ratchera, but really you're just afraid of being rejected, which kind of correlates to future chapters that the anime, well, not this season's gonna get to. There's like 2 chapters. There's 2 scenes in particular I'm thinking of. One is actually in chapter 26, which I'm assuming would be the first or at least second chapter of the new season, if it gets a season 2, which we don't know currently. There's not really enough to do with season 2 right now. I wouldn't say season 2 would be in the future until like at least next year, after it gets like another 10, 12 chapters in it, because like right now, as the way things are going, they'll do about 24 chapters worth. Well, the manga currently is at 36, so you could the best you could do right now is like 6 episodes worth for next season, and I don't think they're gonna do that. And if they do that, it'll turn into some filler bullshit and get rushed, and I don't want that shit. I think overall they've been handling the anime pretty well, so I'm fine with that. And next episode is the second to last episode, which is episode 11, which is going to do the Mon dating chapter and the introduction to one of my favorite girls. I've mentioned her before, but we're already talking about, even though I hate the fact that the title of the fucking episode gives away what creature she is, which I'm a little mad at, but at the same time I find the character adorable. I'm also mad at because she's introduced in episode 11, and she's literally only gonna get like 1 episode of screen time. Like 2 episodes, my bad. 2 episodes of screen time. That's it. And I knew that was gonna happen, which is why I was sad, which is part of me, which I think might be one of the reasons why they didn't throw her in the opening. But we'll see. It's fine. But as far as this episode is concerned, good. It pretty much stuck to the canon almost all the way through, minus like 1 or 2 scenes and some random line changing. Still don't understand the random line changing, because that seems to happen every other episode. But I'm not gonna complain because I like it. It's cool. Good shit. And I will also probably leave a link in the description. Well, no, I don't need to do that. Someone uploaded a video version of the screenshot of the Blu-ray version of clips, but I'm pretty sure it got taken down by now. But if I find it, I will leave a link in the description for those who want to see it. Or I might just put it on my website, because that seems like a smart idea. Anyways, this has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game. Pay to win. Life's a game. Bring your boy Terrell. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. And tell me, which one of the dates did you like the most? Mia and Mero's, Poppy and Sue's, or Ratchera's and Centuria's? And are you looking forward to the Mon date chapter? Catch you guys later. Peace.